Tune in to Talking Law with Attorney Daryl O'Neill and the special guest host, Attorney Jerome Payne. Live TV talk on your digital device, on Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV. Download the SVP TV app right now. Check us out every Tuesday on Comcast Cable, Channel 17, 8:30 p.m. And we are live every Friday on Facebook Live, 6 o'clock in the evening. You've got a question, our attorneys have the answer. So let's talk law with Attorney Daryl O'Neill on the SVP TV network.
Welcome to Talking Law with Daryl O'Neill. I'm your host. I got my main man with me, Jerome.
Hey, Daryl. What's going on,
What's up, man? Another day in the neighborhood.
Absolutely. Beautiful one, too, today.
Beautiful, beautiful,
yes.
Beautiful. Hey, we got a lot of information we want to try to get to you today. We want to say first, give our shout-outs. Welcome to Facebook. You remember Facebook? Man, you guys, y'all hurt me bad, man. We always got open mic, open question, open phone lines. Anything Facebook wants, we want to go ahead and put that out there.
Absolutely.
I think that we're still making that same offer, Jerome, also for YouTube.
Okay, very good.
I think YouTube, and I'm not certain. I mean, Miss Debbie can educate me. I think we can do the same thing for Roku and Apple TV and all those other ones. I mean, I think Roku TV, Apple TV, Fire Stick, those people are actually able to view us live.
Wow.
And because they're able to view us live, they have that same ability that Facebook, that they can actually ask questions live.
Wow, that's excellent. At this time of the year too, I know they can use some extra money.
Man, we got some Christmas some Christmas bonuses for them, man.
Absolutely.
So anyway, welcome all you guys. We need to say welcome to our normal viewing audience when we actually go on the TV. We're live on TV, and that is welcome to Little Rock.
Yes.
Welcome to West Memphis. I'm getting a blur there. Welcome to West Memphis. Welcome to Shelby County. Welcome to Mississippi. And welcome to the great state of Missouri.
Absolutely.
Mom, how you doing?
Hey there, Mom.
So today, Jerome, I want to talk about, we want to go back and finish what we were talking about. We were doing estate matters.
That's exactly right.
We were doing wills, probates, conservatorships, things of that nature.
Exactly.
I think that's a good thing, Jerome. But, somebody asked me a question earlier today. They said that something could have happened to them because somebody else put them in a bad situation. That makes sense to you?
I'm trying to focus. You go ahead, look just a little bit.
So
you know what, there, and I like the way you did that because that's how we get to the middle.
That's how we get to the middle.
Because clients come in fuzzy and just saying some things, and so we continue to ask questions to probe to get to where we're. So I'm trying to get there. So
okay, and it went on.
Okay,
and what this person basically said that there was a person that didn't have. He was put in contact with a person that should not have been in the same vicinity that he was.
Oh, okay.
And because that person was put in the same vicinity that he was, they got into an altercation.
Oh.
And as a result of that altercation, they separated and moved them away. But he said because of that person's skill set, that person could have injured or killed him. And so. And the reason why I'm bringing it up, Jerome, in the legal world, there is one cuss word, and maybe two cuss words. The number one cuss word in the legal profession is if.
Okay. Okay.
And the next one is should or could.
Okay.
And here's the reason why I say that. Litigation is predicated on what has happened, and as a result of what has happened, you have suffered injuries or harm, and somebody needs to pay for those injuries or harms you suffered because of what has happened.
I like that.
If has not happened.
Right.
Could has not happened.
Right.
Should has not happened.
Right.
So those things are hard to litigate because we don't have a tangible thing to discuss.
I like that. What
do you think about it?
In fact, I agree wholeheartedly because there's really, in other words, it does not appear that that situation is ripe.
Right.
And that's what we use in the law.
It is. I like
many
that.
times it's Mr. Payne, I don't think your case is right at this point.
All right.
You see what I'm saying? So you're absolutely right.
Yeah, I mean, so, whenever you start talking about what could have happened, again, I'm not really certain from my legal perspective, and again, there's other lawyers that may view this differently, but I don't never see that as a good case. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say never. I have a hard time reconciling that as a good case.
But let's expand that a little bit more. There's also a term, I don't know whether you call those, you said that there was those cuss words, but what is should have known? Where does that go? Because many times the law is predicated on what we knew or should have known was going to be the result
I like that.
of an action.
So you like that? That is correct.
Right.
So there is a series of the law that says knew or should have known.
Right.
But that also is an after effect.
Okay.
So what I mean by that is if you're injured because of X.
Right.
Or something has happened as you because of X, then the next level is, now that this happened, whomever is responsible knew or should have known that dangerous event would have happened.
That the consequences of this event was going to lead to this point.
Right.
Yeah, and I like that.
Yeah.
But again, as you said, it happened.
It's already happened. And so,
That's right.
and what they're trying to do then is, you're trying to link everything now. Because what ends up happening is, the best case in the world has to have damages.
That's right.
And I don't mean that, you got to have some high numbers on it. I'm just saying damages, you can have all the factors. Negligence has 4 elements. And you can have 3 of those elements. But if you miss the damage element, you lose your case.
It fails.
It fails.
Yeah. Right.
So, for instance, Jerome can't drive. I mean, that's for real. Jerome really can't drive. Don't drive that well. I'm just joking.
My insurance company is listening there.
well, Jerome runs into my car.
Right.
And he hits my car extremely hard. But there's no damage to the body of my car. And there's no damage to me. So I'm not injured. I'm weirded out a little bit. But there's no dents in my car. Right, which means there is no physical damage to my car, and I didn't get injured. I'm just weirded out because of the accident.
Right.
I could sue Jerome because Jerome was negligent because he wasn't paying attention.
That's right.
Or if he was paying attention, he didn't pay the right attention because he ran into the back of it.
Because I had a duty to pay attention. Each driver has a duty to be aware of the road and of their persons where they're driving at. Right. So yes, that's right.
Yeah. So
I have breached.
Yeah. So the duty was you have the duty to maintain a proper and safe lookout.
That's right.
You breached that duty by running into the back of me.
That's right.
And as a result of it, it was your negligence that's caused what?
The accident.
Caused the accident.
Right.
But what are your damages?
Interesting.
What is your harm?
Interesting.
Because there's no damage to my vehicle, and I wasn't injured.
Now, let's expand a little bit more too, because that sounds to me like the insurance company's defense. What you just described to me was the insurance company defense because they don't want to pay. But you and I know just because there is no visible damage to a vehicle does not mean that the occupant was not injured.
No. And you are absolutely correct, Joe.
Right.
No, I don't disagree with you.
Right.
Because, so, flipping lawyers, man, they always going to try to turn stuff around, man. Lawyers. I'm just messing with you. But that's the point. I mean, because what I was trying to say was that there's an element that's missing from the negligence claim. And that element, if that element of damages is missing, harm, then your claim fails as a matter of law.
That's right.
But that doesn't mean in reality, just because if somebody runs into the back of you, and just because there's no visible damage to your vehicle, but you're injured or you're hurting, you're complaining, you're uncomfortable, you got all these different things, that doesn't mean that you don't have any damage because there's no damage to your vehicle.
Absolutely.
Because, and one of the things that I used to do, and I still do, and I'll do this in jury trial.
I think most of us still use that same example there.
Yeah, because what I do is the egg.
Yes.
I always tell people, when you go to the grocery store, and even though there's no damage on the egg carton, why do you open the egg carton and look inside?
It would be foolish for you to come home, you and I as husbands, and the wife sends you to go get some eggs, and you don't open that crate to look and see,
look inside,
and get home, you're gonna get a what am I saying? A scolding, because
you're gonna lose some honeydew points.
No question about it.
Yeah.
Because there's absolutely no excuse for not opening the crate to look to see if something is wrong with the egg on the inside.
Right.
Yes.
So if somebody because the other problem is, and that analogy goes a little further, because we call that an eggshell client.
That's exactly right.
So we don't know what is going on with that person,
Man,
and we
excellent.
don't know what would actually cause that client to break down
That's
more.
exactly right there. And even further now that we have opened up this, as we're unfolding, that we are taking the fold off of the onion. We are unpeeling the onion. That person could just have a schizoid type personality. That's what we call the eggshell skull plaintiff. That person is now afraid to drive. Now that person has nightmares because of this accident. But again, it has to be proven. You just can't say it. It has to be proven.
Yeah.
And damages cannot be speculative.
It cannot be speculative.
That's right.
And so a lot of times what ends up happening, and you hit it on the head, Jerome, a good insurance defense lawyer is going to try to do everything in their power to prevent you from talking about this eggshell thing.
That's exactly right.
And what they're going to try to do is try to make the jury believe, well, you shouldn't give them anything because they had a pre-existing problem.
That's exactly right.
And you should punish them because they had a pre-existing problem. And that's just not the law.
And that's not the law.
It's not the law.
And in fact, can they even argue that there? If this is not the law, to say
I was looking
that the person he's been involved in another accident as a child, as a teenager or something. So now he has maybe a pin or something in his leg.
Right.
And now you have broken the leg, but we can prove that this break is different from the one that suffered early on, then that person is entitled to be compensated.
Well, and how that has to be done is that part of it has to be done through medical testimony.
Absolutely.
I mean, there is no speculation on it, and then even with your if you have this psychological break as a result of it, you have to have some psychological expert to testify that how that event has exacerbated your psychological issues.
Absolutely.
So, a lot of this is not even about lawyers, it's about medical testimony.
That's exactly right.
So, here's what people try to do on those, Jerome, is they'll try to say something like, well, I know how I feel. And I'm not feeling good, or I feel different, and that's fine. But you got 12 people in the box over there, and those 12 people in the box have to feel what you're feeling.
That's right.
I mean, you got to make them feel you. And I've done a number of these things, and with these personal injury trials.
You probably not going to recover because it's subjective.
It's a harder
subjective injury. The burden is much harder.
Yeah.
And that's why we tell people to be careful how you describe the events.
Right.
Because that's going to be documented. Whomever you speak to, And a lot of times I ask people when I was doing accidents, I kind of stopped getting accident out there. But when the driver of the other car who happened to run into you comes to the window and say, "Are you all right?" You say, "Oh, yeah, I'm fine. I don't." That's the worst thing in the world.
Well, that's a check block,
right?
You know.
And then, but by the same token, when the driver comes to the window and says, "Are you all right?" If they say, "I'm sorry, I'm so sorry I ran into you. I was looking down at my phone," or it dropped and I looked away, or I was trying to change the radio. All those things are documented, which will support your case.
Yeah, and you got this certain class of insurance companies that play these games with these cases. And the sad part about it, you're involved in an accident and you have no fault. All you did was be in the wrong place at the wrong time. It's sad that here's the reason why they don't want to settle those cases, right? Because they too busy putting Jake from State Farm on TV. They too busy putting that little green gecko on TV, with all these, the Angry Bird,
exactly
commercials.
Right.
Or Progressive and all that about all these things that they do for you. And yet still, when it's time to resolve an injury because of something somebody did due to no fault of yours, they play the games with you.
There, you're exactly right. But also, too, what's really terrible is the fact that I'm insured, I'm fully insured because I'm a responsible driver. And I even went the extra step and got uninsured motorist coverage. Now, what I've done is I've created an adversary that didn't exist,
and you paying for it.
And I'm paying. The insurance company has now hired a lawyer to fight me from my own funds.
Right.
I'm paying for it.
Right.
And so it's awful.
Right. Yeah, and that's the whole thing. That's what you always have to do. You have to make those people feel bad about what's going on.
Yes.
Because, again, you wasn't there.
Yeah.
How you going to tell me how I'm doing and you ain't there?
Exactly right there.
So, that's always the fight. All right, so we digress for a minute.
I don't know. Let's go ahead and stay there.
Okay, you want to stay there? Okay,
stay there.
Okay.
So Darryl, let's do the anatomy of the accident. Okay. So, and we're seeing a lot of them. Darryl, did you hear about the 3 people who lost their lives last night, the night before last, over on Getwell? There was a major accident on Getwell.
I did not.
I think 3 people lost their lives.
Okay.
And we're seeing a lot of bad drivers in Memphis, Tennessee.
Yeah. Right.
And I don't know where these people are going because
they be flying,
man. When I get to the light, dude is right there beside me.
Yeah, I don't get that either, man. I've always wondered that. You've weaving
in. Going because when we get to the light, we're right beside each other,
weaving in and out of traffic. Cutting people off, and then you at the same stoplight I'm at.
That's exactly right.
I never understand.
So what did you accomplish? Nothing, but made it unsafe for everybody around you because they're trying to avoid you. But should you be in a situation like that? There, and I brought that up just to say this, is that be careful about the phantom driver. You follow me there? Now, the audience may not know what that is, so explain to them about a phantom driver and how difficult, if impossible, to recover if someone were to cause you to leave the road or have an accident and there's no evidence that they were there.
Well, I'm glad you say that. Okay, so the phantom driver is here's the phantom driver. The phantom driver is a Memphis driver. And here's the reason why
you
I say
are right.
Yeah, the phantom driver is a Memphis driver. Right. That's the again, and I don't mean I do mean disrespect. That's the idiot that's weaving in and out of traffic,
exactly,
cutting people off, moving short, and then keeping on driving.
That's exactly right.
That's the person that almost hits you, and then you do something to
take evasive action.
You take evasive action,
right?
and then that evasive action causes you to lose control.
That's right.
But the problem with that is your evasive action also has to be reasonable.
That's exactly right.
Because the law puts the onus on every driver to maintain a safe and proper lookout.
That's right.
So, most people don't do this, but it's required that you do defensive driving. You're required to make sure, I'm required to make sure that when I pass Jerome is driving correctly.
That's right.
And I need to be looking out of my peripheral vision to see if Jerome is, driving recklessly, and maybe I need to slow down to let Jerome go by. I don't want to speed up and say, Jerome cut me off to get by me, but let me speed on up so Jerome can knock me off the road and keep on going.
That's right.
Because the phantom driver will always keep going.
That's exactly right.
That's what they're going to do. They're going to hit you and then cause you to do something, and then they're going to keep going.
If they hit you, that's a different story there.
Well, that's what they normally do. They nick you.
Well, then you at least got some paint from a different car.
It's like that.
So that wouldn't be a phantom driver anymore.
Right.
I'm talking about the one where there's no evidence that person was ever there.
Right. Right. Now that's the phantom. That's the phantom driver.
And so, in other words, someone who is a good Samaritan can see what happens when you are run off the road, or you ran up an embankment or something, and stop and said, yes, I saw the red Mustang running off the road,
right.
And I only got a couple of the numbers off his tag, but at least we know that there was another car involved. And so you can defeat the phantom driver defense then that way.
Right. Because what they'll try to say, or, you say, well, they'll try to say there's no paint.
That's exactly right.
There's no this, there's no that. I actually represent a client right now where the issue, and he's suing his own insurance company. And the issue was that somebody clipped him.
Right.
And he ran into a pole.
An embankment or something.
Yeah, he ran into a pole.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Now the insurance company said, "Oh, you didn't get clipped because we can't see the paint that we see on there. It looks like the paint from you hitting a tree.
It's old damage, huh?"
And I'm like,
"Oh man!"
I'm like, "Come on, really?
It's awful."
So they'll spend that time and effort to fight you on that issue.
But what the beautiful thing, and also the scary thing now, is that there are video cameras everywhere now. So the good lawyer will first of all search around to try to find out if there is a way to document what occurred. And these sky caps, these police caps are around. So it may be that you could do that. Or even a homeowner's camera too.
Yeah, there used to be a lot of this, because the DOT, so the Tennessee Department of Transportation, has cameras on the interstate.
Yes.
The problem is where they are, and they're not at every exit.
Right.
And so there's a lot of gaps in where these cameras are.
Okay.
So sometimes, and then I don't remember what the rollover time on those cameras, but I don't know that you can always get those cameras either.
Oh man, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah, normally what you can do,
because they tape over.
They do. Oh. All of them tape over.
Wow.
Normally what you can do is you can put a time index. So T-Dot cameras, you can actually go in and review. People don't know that. You can actually view the cameras.
I never knew that.
Yeah, you can actually view the cameras yourself.
Okay.
And you can actually go back in and do a search. I got cameras like that in my office.
Right.
I can do a search and get up to about 10 days worth of footage.
Okay.
Maybe 15 days, But after that, it starts, because they don't have that much space to store all of it,
Of course.
So they roll over and clear each other out. And even with the police department, if you want to get the 911 tapes,
that's true.
You have to do that within 90 days.
Is that what it is? 90 days?
It's either 90 days or it's either 90 days or anyway. There's a certain period of time that you have to request that stuff. And if you don't request it, they say they don't have it anymore.
Okay, so now now another question just popped in my mind too. Now you know the police can lie.
Yeah.
To a suspect or defendant.
Yeah.
But the defendant can't lie to the police.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So my point is that as lawyers, we can't say that we have a recording of an incident if we don't really have it.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's not like we can threaten. And I tell my clients all the time. For instance, like I do consumer stuff, and I do bankruptcies, and I do collection and garnishments. I tell them all the time. Now, unless you are willing to do a bankruptcy, I can't threaten.
I tell clients that all the time.
I can't threaten them that you're going to do it.
I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, if you don't settle. You know, so we can't strong arm someone by threatening to do something that the client is not willing to do.
Yeah, I tell clients that all the time. I say, I've had clients tell me, well, tell them I won't file bankruptcy. And I tell them, I'm not doing it.
You can't do it.
Now I have done something like this. Hey, look, if we keep down this path that you're going, you're going to put my client in a situation they're going to have any choice but to file bankruptcy.
I think that's appropriate.
Yeah.
And that's why we have to have the conversation with the client. First of all, saying, look, now we're going to have some leverage in order to get them to understand what the reality is. And if you push my client back against the wall, they don't have a choice but to come out and defending themselves. So we know that a phantom situation can possibly result in a no recovery.
It can. It can. But here's the thing about the phantom situation, and I think that really does help somebody out regardless. Let me just tell you this. You got a phantom driver that cuts you off and made you, forced you off, right? There is nobody to dispute your testimony that somebody cut you off.
That's true.
And I think if you had an argument in Shelby County and say that somebody cut you off, everybody in Shelby County knows there's a bunch of reckless driving individuals out here.
There, you are absolutely
And so
correct.
If it's my word against who?
You're absolutely. To the insurance company.
They ain't got no witness.
That's exactly. You are absolutely.
They ain't got no
correct.
witness. So I mean, we believe.
You're absolutely.
You ain't no witness. You wasn't there.
You're absolutely correct.
There's no paint on your car. Man, I was there.
You're absolutely correct there.
I mean, you think I'm just gonna run into a pole?
And then the other beautiful thing about in today's times is that everyone has a cell phone.
Yeah.
Take your cell phone out. Take pictures of the surrounding areas. And some things that are going on, you may not be cognizant of them at the time, but when you go back and review the pictures, you might see something that would help trigger something that's going to be effective when you're trying to prove your case. But don't give up just because you don't have everything. And you know what, there, and that's important. This
is the fact pattern and the law.
Exactly.
So I mean, if you know how to voir dire a jury, I mean, you can voir dire a jury regardless of whether it's a personal injury or whether it's a criminal case. I mean, voir dire is voir dire. You figure out what it is, the person that you need. What kind of jury that you need.
That's right.
I mean, you listen to them, you talk to them, and again, certain cases you can't win with a jury.
Right.
You got to pick that. And this, a lot of times it's criminal cases because people believe automatically if you've been charged with a criminal matter, you're guilty.
That's right.
So you got to put somebody in a box that's going to be like, man, that's some nonsense. I ain't going out like that.
That's right.
And it's hard to find somebody like that because in Shelby County, man, and everybody's got that follow mentality unless it's you. Unless they need you, then they want you to do something.
Right, exactly.
So I mean, it's an interesting scenario, man.
And I'm glad we took the time to do that there because more and more, and that's why I forgot what they're calling it now. They're saturating the interstate and saturating these major highways and byways with police officers, Shelby County deputies, the highway patrol, state troopers, because of the problem.
On your digital device. on Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV. Download the SVP TV app right now. Check us out every Tuesday on Comcast Cable, Channel 17, 8:30 p.m. And we are live every Friday on Facebook Live, 6 o'clock in the evening. You've got a question, our attorneys have the answer. So let's talk law with Attorney Daryl O'Neill on the SVP TV network.